Welcome back to the Best Dominion Cards list 2016. Sorry for the break, but today we're back for the 5 cost cards approaching the middle ranked ones. Rank 59, Charm. Charm is the 5th Empire's card and 3 cards higher in the unweighted ranking. Here Charm is can be really strong. It has the ability to mainly to buy a 5 cost card and gain one. But this means you need 5 coins and a charm in hand, so you can't get that early, or you need to be really lucky. So getting a charm early seems really not really well, so you either need to trash first or need draw first. So you get mostly charm in the mid game, and then it's often already pretty late to get it. It really depends what you want. If it's a pile, if one of the 5 cost piles is heavily contested, like a minion for example, charm might be too slow, especially the charm is a treasure card and doesn't of course work well with minion, but other cards have the same problems. So it really depends on the board if it's worth it to pick a charm in between after getting some of the 5 costs to get the extra pile while gaining the pile that you really want. Of course, it's nice that you have the option to use it as a woodcutter without spending an action. But of course, that is not what you expect from a 5 cost card. This is only the option for last resort. So yeah, charm can be really nice, but it's really needs some draw or trashing or some other way, like a tactician or something, to get big hands so that you can use the effect for what you really want. Rank 58, Festival. Festival stays around the same, loses 1 rank but has a slightly better average. It is 6 ranks higher in the unweighted ranking and therefore overrated by newer players. Yeah, Festival is a very simple card from the base set. Of course, 2 actions and 2 coins and a buy is really nice, but of course, if you want 2 actions, you're building a draw engine, and that the card doesn't draw really hurts, of course. So you either need to draw up to X, then Festival is really nice, or a really strong draw to make it worth it. Of course, the 2 coins is a nice compensation, but if it, of course, Bazaar, for example, is a better card because it has the +1 card and is higher up in this list. Rank 57, Forum. Forum is the 6th Empire's card and 1 rank higher in the unweighted ranking. Yeah, I had Forum like 15 ranks higher because Forum is like the second 5 cost card I often get after getting the strong 5 that I want, because it helps really to see my 5 cost card more often without decreasing my hand size, which is really important if especially if the 5 cost card is, for example, a discarded tag, or if you have trashing, then this cycling like warehouse or cellar, decreasing the hand size really hurts. So Forum is really nice there. It's way better than Cartographer. It does the same thing, but cycling through the deck without losing hand size, but is way stronger. Uh, so Forum is really nice in sloggy games where you have a lot of bad cards and a few good cards. Spamming Forums is a really nice strategy to see the good cards more often. It basically also means you don't need a lot of trashing, so you can add just a lot of Forums, and that you can get it for free for a buy is often more often important than I originally thought. So if the kingdom has no plus buy and you reach 8 early, getting a forum in a silver or other free cost is a really good option to do. And also forum tunnel is a really strong strategy. You can get lots of goals, get 8 early, and can just buy forum tunnel again. Can keep building and gets lots of goals, and later you can even get 13 and get like province forum or something and just keep building while you're green. So this means it has a lot of nice synergies, and I can see it way higher. Getting it early after the first 5 cost is a really good option. Rank 56 Duke. Just like last year, Duke continues to drastically fall. It lost 8 ranks this year. It is 1 rank higher in the unrated ranking, and it has the highest deviation in this list so far. Yeah, whenever money is the strongest option on the board, you have to consider Duke, which it doesn't mean that it's not viable in engines, but it's really a strong option at least for money strategies. And if you have a good way to continuously hit 5, like horse traders, a mill, um, or something like a duplicate, going for Duke is really strong option. But it works. It, that engines are stronger now means that Duke is often just not the way to go, because if you have an engine, a strong one, and you can just generate 16 and 2 buys, then or even 3 buys, then going for 3 duchies is mostly worse than going for 2 provinces, because the engine mostly can't continue to do well until you empties the duchies and the dukes. Also, it means that mostly piles are empty and you can't even get dukes when the duchies are empty, for example. So going for provinces seems just way stronger. That doesn't mean that engines on duke don't work, doesn't work, but mostly going for provinces is just better. And this is the reason, I think at least, that Duke is weaker as the time went by. But still, you have to always on each board consider, how can I make Duke work, is it worth it, and then either go or not go for it. Rank 55, Merchant Guild. Merchant Guild stays on the same rank but has a slightly better average. It is 2 ranks higher in the unweighted ranking. Yeah, Merchant Guild is of course similar to Goons and Bridge, one of the best payloads you can get for every engine. So if there's a way to spam multiple Merchant Guilds, like at least 4 or 5, um, then Merchant Guild is a very good option. Um, Early on, a few coin tokens when getting cheap stuff is also very good, because those coin tokens help you to get 2 good cards or 3 good cards next turn as well. So it escalates somehow. The more coin tokens you have, the more coin tokens you will get. And when you have like 4 or 5 merchant guilds in play, you can just get lots of engine pieces, and the next turn you have so many coin tokens that you can just green. But the problem is it's way weaker than Bridge when you just play 1. So you get less benefit on the turn you play it, and even when you so the benefit you get is for the next turn. So 1 bridge is just way stronger than 1 merchant guild, and multiple 5 bridges is mostly also stronger than 5 merchant guilds. It just plays a little bit differently and but is still a really strong payload if you get multiples of. But if there's only one of, it might be a good option for a big money-ish strategy, that the coin tokens help you smooth out the buys, but it's just weak for getting only 1 coin. Rank 54, Artificer. Artificer has a small lead over Merchant Guild of 0.02 percentage points. It lost 2 ranks but has around the same average. It is 4 ranks higher in the unweighted ranking. Yeah, Artificer is the next peddler variant in this list, and I don't get its low ranking honestly, because we haven't seen Baker yet, for example, and I think Artificer might be stronger than Baker. Well, Baker might be useful on more boards, because coin tokens are useful on basically every board. You can spam them in an engine and accumulate them, and use a few Bakers in a big money strategy to continuously hit 8. But Artificer, when it's strong, it's just way stronger than Baker or even Highway, I think, because if there's draws or some way to draw up to X, like a Menagerie or a Village and draw up to X card, or some good way to get big hand sizes, like with a Tactician or something, then Artificer is just so good. You can it can gain any card, so it's not even limited to 3 or 4 cost cards. You can get 5 cost cards or even provinces if you want, and this is just a really good way to get the stuff that you want. And the +1 coin is just another bonus that you have, and because mostly you're would be just content with the gaining ability, but you also get the extra coins. So if there's also a ferry, like cost reducer, is really nice. A ferry on Artificer is really strong. You can just ferry Artificer, and then with Artificer gain more Artificers and empty the piles so fast, especially if there's also a way to increase hand size. There are really a lot of synergies, like Farrier, Menagerie, and other stuff, that Artificer makes it really strong. Of course, when there's no combos, Artificer is just really expensive for what it does. It's way worse than a Treasury, for example, and yeah. So it's hard to rank, it really depends on the board, but Artificer can be really strong. Rank 53, Treasure Trove. Treasure Trove is a big winner. It's 13 ranks and 13 percentage points better. It is 4 ranks lower in the unweighted ranking and has the highest deviation in this whole list. Yeah, Treasure Trove was underestimated last time, but it is a really nice option, of course, for money strategy or big money strategies, because you only need like one of that and can continuously gain gold and coppers. And if the money strategy can even get rid of coppers, like a masquerade big money thing, you just get 2 masquerades and a treasure trove and can green like forever. This is a good option, but is also useful for engines. Usually engines sometimes need like 2 or 3 golds to get the extra payload that you want. But with Treasure Trove you just need 1, and it continuously gains golds for how long you need, forever how long you need to green. And the coppers, if you have built engines, you mostly don't mind, because you have probably some kind of treasure, and if the treasure even gives a benefit, then it even gives you fodder for the whole game to continuously play, for example, a trade route or forager or a junk dealer or something. You don't mind the coppers, you're even glad that you gain them. So this is a really good option for payload for either big money or engines. Both work fine. And yeah, you can use it also for slogs. Then the coppers are even good. So you can get like 1 or 2 treasure troves and use it for gardens or duke or for whatever. So it's basically useful on every board. Of course, still not the most strongest card, but you often get like 1 treasure trove in basically every game, and this makes it a really strong option. Rank 52, Groundskeeper. Groundskeeper is the 7th Empire's card and therefore the middle one. It is 1 rank higher in the unweighted ranking and has a high deviation. Yeah, it has a high deviation because I think I was one of the guys that ranked it low. I recently had a conversation on Discord about this card. Basically, what I didn't understand yet, and I understand a little bit better, is mostly my experience was um, if the person who is in the ahead in an engine um, can just buy 8 provinces without stalling, he just can win going for provinces. If he goes for groundskeepers, he probably will win anyway, but there's a little risk that he doesn't get enough points when the other player starts going for provinces. So this is the thing. If groundskeeper um, profits the player who is in the lead anyway, and would probably win anyway if he would just screen. But there are a couple cases where groundskeepers can shine, and this is of course weaker engines that would stall if you would would need to get 8 provinces. um, so if it's like a Herod engine or so, or other engines that would stall or have troubles, or if you have sages, for example, in your engine that would have troubles getting provinces, um, would fall apart. Then, of course, groundskeepers is good. Get a few groundskeepers and then go for provinces. But the one thing I dismissed is, of course, if you have multiple buys and one or 1.5 pile already empty, then going for groundskeepers, emptying the second pile, and making a pile out on estates is a really good option. You have just to be aware that um, the game doesn't end on the free pile before that, but you have to always be aware that groundskeeper works with multiple buys, and gaining estates is a really good option because if you have, I think, five groundskeepers, but then buying a estate is just like buying a province. So the biggest bonus is probably getting cheap victory cards with groundskeepers. This is really the best use case for it. Rank 51, Council Room. Council Room is 5 ranks and 5 percentage points better than last year and therefore continues to rise. It is 3 ranks lower in the unweighted ranking. Yeah, another card from the base set. And of course, plus 4 cards, and the important part is plus 1 buy, is of course really strong, but you have to be aware each other player draws a card, so he gets a free laboratory effect, and this is really a big disadvantage, which makes council rooms really bad. But still, it's really nice in council room. Big money is a really strong option if the engine is weak. Mainly if the engine is at a point where he can draw his deck anyway, the plus 1 card isn't a disadvantage anymore. And you can just get like 2 goals, like gold silver easily, and later 2 goals or council room gold, and just green pretty well. And it also means that the engine player mostly needs, if it's the only draw, the engine player also needs council room, and he probably needs then multiple council rooms, and it just benefits the big money player way more than the engine player, the extra card. So big money is a really strong option, mainly if it's the only draw. But of course it synergizes well with discard attack, so if you can play all your council rooms and then a discard attack at the end, this of course is really nice, and the main use case for council room in an engine. But still, it's a pretty weak card if you compare it, for example, to Masquerade, because Masquerade draws 1 card less, also gives them buy, but each other player has to basically discard 2 cards, so the card bonus you get from 1 council room to 1 Margrave is just way higher with Margrave, and yeah, Margrave is just way better than council room. So this was the last card below 50%, and it's also the last card below the top 50. So we will see starting up to 50% and rank 50 next time. What do you think about this part? A lot of newer cards, Free Empires cards, Guilds cards and Adventures cards in this part. Do you agree with the rise of Treasure Trove, for example? Let me know in the comments or in the forum or in this video. See you soon for the next part. Bye.